Hey there, it's Bootzone here. This is a washing machine motor. It's a CE set, CIM 2/55-132/ZN. It's a 3-phase induction motor for an automatic washing machine. It takes 195 volts at 300 Hz and 3 amps, and that'll give you 17,000 RPM. That's that. Over here, this is what the video's about. This is a single to 3-phase inverter, or a variable frequency drive. It's called an inverter on the instructions. I've got AT1, single phase to 3-phase. I got this online. They're all made in China, I think, and there's loads of them from different sellers, but I think they're all the same one ultimately. Came in a simple cardboard box, but here's the details that were on the box. So it's a model GB-GS02875, and there's an address in Shenzhen, or Shenzhen, made in China. But it seems pretty good to me. There's another code on the box there, I don't know what that one's for. 2875, it's the same code. This little thing here clips out, so you can move it around ever so slightly, but it only comes out that distance, and you can get other ones with longer cords, so you can move them a bit further. I'll plug it in and I'll show you what it does. So when I plug it in, it gives me these two numbers and then F, and it says on the top stop and forward. All these numbers look like they're flashing to you. They're not flashing to me, that's just the way the camera picks them up. They look like a constant. What I've noticed with this one is the power light never comes on, which is a bit weird, and I think it should be on now, especially if everything else is on. And this thing has loads of functions, and I don't know the half of them yet. And I'll learn them in time, but this is only a brief introduction about how I set it up. So it's the AT1 model, so this is the pin-out layout for it, and I've got W, V and U, which are these three here. If we take a look at that. W, V and U go out to the motor, and I've used not 3-phase cable, but just standard household cable. And they go over to here, and I've not put them in any particular order other than in the same sequence. They come out of here to the same sequence over there. I don't know if that's right or wrong. I know 3-phase has a method you're meant to put on it, and I'm not sure if I've done it right or not. And then on this side here you have earth, live and neutral. That's pretty self-explanatory. And there's a protective cover you're meant to take off. There's a set of tabs up here which have a load of other things written on them there, and that's to link it through to some other kind of control device, I think, but I don't know anything about that yet, and I don't know if I ever will figure that out. But there's the wiring. What else can I show you? We're not on AT3. You can press pause. There's a little description of the panel there. But when I got it, it was set up to have a range of 0 to 65 Hertz. So F is telling you what it's set up for, I think. And if I turn up the little potentiometer there, I've changed that so that it goes up to 300. And I think you can change it so that it goes up higher. I can't remember what the range was. Frequency might just be 400 on this one, or maybe it's up here. There's a lot of information on it, and you can change lots of things depending on on the other side there. It showed you can set up a selection of presets, and then you think you can go in and edit them so that it'll do certain things. And here we are. Minimum frequency is 0 to 400, maximum operating. So the maximum frequency is 400. This motor I showed at the start is 300, so I've set it for 300. The voltage, though, is the issue. So in terms of input voltage, I don't know what the minimum input voltage this will run on, but I presume it's putting out 220 or whatever I'm getting in the line voltage here. out through the other wires, and that doesn't seem to matter. I have played with it already, even though it should be on 195, but in time that might be bad. Oh look, you can put a password on it and all sorts of stuff. I didn't know that. So whenever I got it, I needed to change the frequency, and so I went into it and did that. How did I do it? I went into number 6, using the keys on the pad, and just changed it to okay, so it's set to 100 Hz, but I thought it was set to 65 for me, and just changed that maximum operating frequency to 300 Hz. So I'll just give you a brief demonstration of how it works, and I'll show you. I've got a little tacho here. I'll show you the speed it's running at. So I've set it to 300. Let's just go for it. So you can see the frequency increases. So when you adjust it, it has a ramp up or ramp down velocity, so it doesn't go straight away. You can change it in hertz per second and sort of do it faster, but I've left it as it is because it seems fine to me. So it's set at 128.3 there in the forward direction. If I press this button, it automatically changes down to 0 and then starts up in the other direction, which is kind of cool. And just get back up to that, and then if I press stop, I can stop it there. So I can set the frequency at the beginning, or I can set it at the end. Like, you can set it right down to, let's try and, it's quite touchy because I've put such a huge range into it there, but if I set it to 1.8 there, it doesn't seem to be enough to get the motor to come on. It's going at 5, going at 3.8. But it will spin very slowly there. But there's no torque on that at all. I don't want to touch it at this speed. Maybe, I wonder, could I slow that down now? Let's put a screwdriver against it. No, it's pretty strong there. It is fighting that. It's really fighting that. Now that's not any kind of a load test, but even at a very low frequency, it's pulling okay there. And let's just put a... So that's 700 RPM roughly. And it said on the motor that it goes up to 17,000, but I've actually tested it already and it goes up a little bit higher than that. So let's press stop. And you can hear a fan comes on there. Let's press stop. A lot of the noise that you heard when I had it running up to speed was coming from the piece of tape. So I'll do this high speed test on it now and then take the tape off. So let's put it up to full speed. I should have told you this last time, so you'll have guessed that it's going to be loud. Press run. So that was 17, that's gone again, that's the down speed, 17, almost 18,000 RPM, which is really fast. Even in washing machine speeds, washing machine motor speeds, that's really fast. So a lot of that noise was the wind coming off this little piece of tape, so let's take that off and just run it up to speed again. Run. So it's not that loud really running at that full speed, and it's certainly a lot quieter than a brushed commutator motor. This is a 3-phase washing machine motor that needs to be run off an inverter. The inverter for a washing machine looks like this. This is the inverter, and there's the little things that do the switching in there. I don't know how you get this to power it, so I bought this instead. And this cost me £47 delivered in the UK. That's in 2020. So it's quite expensive relative to what I normally pay, and relative to the kind of SCR voltage controllers that you can put on brushed commutator motors. And if that's the kind of universal brushed commutator motor that you have, then check out my other videos. I'll put a thing somewhere on the screen that will link to that now. Check that out, because that explains how brushed commutator motors work and how you can power them and control their speed. This is completely different. This is a 3-phase induction motor. What can I say about this in terms of pros and cons? It's cheap, relatively. Like, these things used to be hundreds of pounds before they started churning them out. Let's turn it off. Is there an off button? What have I done wrong? There's no off button, is there not? So I'll turn that down. And then just plug it out. There isn't an off button on it, actually. Oh, there's a code up here as well I should show you. Not a code, just some more stuff addressed there. Is that the same as what was on the box? It's the same name, different phone numbers and whatnot. It doesn't really matter. On the back of it there's a huge aluminium heatsink, and I'm touching that now so it doesn't seem to be on live or neutral. You can see some of the things screwed onto it from behind there. It's not the most elegant board. If you can see the soldering in there, it's not the most elegant, but that doesn't particularly matter. This one has one little fan to pull air, if it's mounted on something, to pull air down through the fins. It could have two. I wonder why it doesn't. Maybe the other models have, you know, the 3-phase, this was a 3-phase to 3-phase and so on. Maybe they have that function. The thing I didn't like about it when I was screwing in the cables here to the terminals is that these terminals are mounted on the board, and it feels loose whenever you're screwing them in, so you have to be you can't put pressure on them. You have to get a good sharp screwdriver with good square ends to turn them. And that was something that I didn't really like, but most things seem to be board mounted nowadays. You know, you could really have another cable coming out, but it would cost more, and that's the trade-off that you have. They're board mounted as well, but of course they're much smaller screws, so it shouldn't be as big an issue. And there's no means to clamp the cables other than straight to the board. You know, you don't have any grips or anything to hold them, so that's a bit of a negative in my case there. You know, and you can't tidy them up either. This cover only covers the top, it doesn't cover the bottom there. I guess you could have them coming in and going down that way and then back around, but that's not really how it's designed to work at all, as far as I can tell. I think they really are just meant to come in the bottom like that. And that screws on there, and there's some safety notices that I didn't read, gotta say. In the ground tennial of the inverter must be grounded well. You know, there's something in there somewhere. Okay. There's other things in here, like there's speed that seems to be controllable, and torque. There's torque settings on the paper. The thing is, it doesn't really tell you how you can do it or what it's capable of. It only tells you all of the data behind it, which is useful, but you've got to be creative for yourself. So you could have like very low torque so that it would slip at a certain torque. That I don't know what that would be useful for. I think the most simple thing for this would be to run a lathe, and given that, you know, it had that much torque, people were saying these motors are crap. Given that it had that much torque, you know, it's got to be able to pull 10 kilos of laundry with this correct gearing. Given that it's got that much torque, I think it'd be suitable to run a small lathe. Like, it's a small motor, but relatively small. Here's my hand, you know, but it's slightly smaller than the brushed commutator motors that you get on washing machines. But it still seems to, you know, it'd probably turn. You could probably turn metal or use it for a wood turning lathe without much difficulty. Especially if you consider that it can be running at 17,000 RPM, and that's, I think, up at the higher end of its frequency range. It's probably where you're going to get the most torque out of it. So if you've got it running up and then gear it back down again. But I say that, I don't know if that's dependent on the inverter or if it's dependent on the motor. I don't know, is this going to overheat if you're trying to put a load of torque through it at a low speed or that? I don't know. So it had no load tests or anything like that. It's really just a first look for me, and I may well make more videos of it in time in the future, but they probably won't be soon given that I'm just tinkering away with stuff. If you've got any questions about what I've said, put them in the comments below and I'll try and respond. If you've got any observations about what I said, especially if I said something that wasn't correct, put it in the comments below and we'll deal with that in the appropriate fashion. I'll put a link down below to these on Amazon, an affiliated link, and if you're in the mood to sponsor the channel in some way, some of the money from, if you did buy one, or if you bought anything on Amazon through the link, some of that money would go back to the channel and mean that I can buy more stuff like this to tinker with in my shed and show you. In the future I plan on also connecting this to a 3-phase direct drive washing machine motor, and I think that will work. The kind of one that's on LG washing machines where they don't actually have a separate motor and belt. The motor is just part of the back of the tub. I think that's kind of really where I want to play with this, but for now I think I want to just potter away with the parameters here and maybe just have it driving something simple to do that. I haven't got any means of testing the torque on it, like rotational torque is different to just static torque, so I don't know what I could do with that, but yeah, any observations leave them below. Subscribe to the channel if this kind of stuff's what you're into, and check out my how to wire washing machine motors playlist as well. That might separate it out. If you've gotten this far in the video and you've realized this guy's not talking about the kind of motor I have, well, there's other kinds of motors and I do describe how to deal with them in other videos. For now, thanks for watching. See you later. Just one more interesting thing before I go. When you plug it out, nothing happens for a few minutes. Now if I was to press run, the fan comes on. This isn't plugged in. There's a tiny amount of power stored somewhere in that was just enough to get that motor off before it pulled it down. There must be some kind of a short-term battery or something in there for memory purposes or something. I don't know. If you know anything about it, let me know, because it's kind of cool that it runs by magic. And just in case you doubt me, there's the cable. There's no magic going on. There must be some kind of a battery in there. Thanks for watching. See you later.